Coffee time with the old dude. Yeah, I've got it perking right now. I got my very favorite travel mug. Yeah, the old dude. The man, the myth, the legend. It's a little scarred, a little dinged up. Hey, it's a copy of me. Back with you here in just a little bit. Remember, I can't have Deadmer music on here. We lost a great one for sure. Anyway, back with y'all this morning. I've got my coffee. We had to make an early run to Plano, Texas. Wife's got a checkup today, just a regular deal, no big deal. You know, they got to get your checkups because you got to keep your insurance. You know how that works. I had a talk with my pharmacy the other day, and they were saying, well, their drugs had gone up a little bit, and I said, well, that's about right, because I just got a raise in my Medicare, and you get a raise in your Medicare, I guess at least I do. Every time I get a raise, everything else goes up. That's life. Anyway, what I was going to bring y'all back for, I've got I was blessed to have Papa Scott Camp Dog Seasonings send me a goodie box. Man, it's full of good stuff. And I had reached out to him last October and said, hey, you know, I've got a new YouTube channel. I'm an old country boy and I like to cook country stuff. See, I ain't awake too good. And if you got any product you'd like to send, I'll review it for you. And you can be honest about it. And so he sent me some. I'm not paid. He did send me the product. And I'm going to give you a code. He sent me, we were talking on the phone the other day, and he sent me a code that if anybody wants to order for my Facebook group or my YouTube group, either one, I have, you know, it's both the same, then they can use this promo code. Let me tell you what the code is. I'm going to put up a link, but I had to write it down. It is CBCC. You go to Camp Dog Seasonings on their website, and when you get ready to check out, it'll say, do you have a code? And you put that code in, they'll get 20% off. And I can tell you, his prices are really good. Now, you can buy his product on Amazon, but, and there's a but, he doesn't sell to Amazon. He sells to another person, and they sell it to Amazon. So it's one of those third-party deals. And, you know, everybody needs to make a little money to make a living. And I understand. Amazon gets their part, the second guy gets his, and a Papa Scott gets his. So it's easier to order it direct from him at his company. They're in southern Louisiana, and he was just a blast to talk to. Something that I did not know, and I'll also put a link up to this. If there's any of you out there that play the guitar, he makes handmade type of Stratocasters, or a Stratocaster, not a copy, but it's his own, but it's like a Stratocaster. And I noticed one of his videos saying that I guess one of the guys that plays with Kid Rock uses one of his guitars, and I watched him in a video. That's pretty cool to see that. So anyway, if anybody's looking for a handmade guitar, he might be the dude you need to get hooked up with. He does some beautiful work. Oh my God, he does beautiful work. Great handyman. He's got, his guitars are just very unique. You know, you're not going to go to your music store and find one, and they're not cheap. But good stuff is not cheap, I can tell you for sure. And anyway, I'll leave a link to Camp Dog Seasonings and to his guitar link too on this video at the end, or I'll superimpose it over it, or whatever I need to do. I ain't real smart about how all this works. I shoot all this with my telephone. Yeah, this is my phone right here, and I do all the editing on my phone. I've got a laptop computer, but I ain't ever figured out how to get my videos from my telephone to my laptop. Maybe some of y'all can tell me how, because the old dude ain't never done that, and it's a learning curve for me, and I just don't know how to do it. I'm sure it's easy, and I don't use an iPhone. And everybody that has an iPhone says, "Oh, you just shoot it and it's there." But I use an Android, so it ain't there. I have to transfer it somehow, and I'm not sure how to do that. And so anyway, life goes on in the old dude's world. I do have one complaint this morning. I wanted to do some blackened catfish. I don't fish anymore, just for simple reason, health reasons. I just can't get out and go to the creek bank, and which I'd love to be doing right now, because the spring crappie fishing season is fixing to be started here in 3 or 4 weeks. Anyway, I wanted to do some catfish fillets and blackening seasoning with the Camp Dog blackening season. I've already used it on some Spam. It was wonderful. Yeah, it's not just for fish, but I did want to try it on some catfish. So I looked at our Kroger store, because we passed it coming to my wife's physician this morning. And look, see if they had catfish. Sometimes they have whole catfish, small whole catfish, which I would love to fry some whole catfish. Those are my favorite, bone-in catfish. But they had fillets. They didn't have any of the small bone-in catfish. And they had fresh fillets that never been frozen, it says. So, I know those are just a couple of days old. They come right from the farms where they're raised. And we have a few in Texas. They have some in Arkansas, Louisiana, and in Mississippi. And then you can get wild-caught catfish, I know, out of Louisiana. I don't know about Arkansas, if they allow that catfish to be trapped and sold up there. I don't think Texas does anymore. But anyway, so I was looking at the Kroger website, and it said Big Value or something, and I'll put a picture of it up. Catfish fillets, there was 2 pounds, and it was X number of dollars. I thought, well, that's pretty good buying. They're frozen, but I don't mind that. So I zoomed in to look at the bag. I thought it might say how many pieces were in there. Well, the first thing on the front says product to China. Oh my God! I don't know if you've ever seen videos the way catfish were raised in China. It's deplorable. Oh my God! They got sewer running into the rivers and the creeks where they're raising these catfish, and the United States has I don't know if it's a law, but it's a agriculture deal that if you raise catfish, you have to have so many square foot of water per catfish. Yeah, well, guess what? China don't have that. And I watched the videos. You can almost walk. I mean, the fish are living, yes. You could almost walk across them, but they don't have the filtration systems to get the poop out of the water. And there is just no way I eat a catfish from China. This ain't even happening. And now it makes me wonder about buying fresh fish from Kroger. Or are they, thawing it out and selling it? I mean, surely they wouldn't do that. So I got to looking up this morning. I thought, this is my old mind and how it works. So I thought, well, I'll look up Kroger and see who owns Kroger. Well, it's cool. There's a guy that started out as a bag boy or a checker, and he now is the head honcho at Kroger. That's the American dream. Also, by the way, Kroger, a couple of weeks ago, just bought Albertsons. And Albertsons, a couple of years ago, bought Tom Thumb. So that's our major 3 retailer grocery stores owned by one corporation. There was some flack that the Senate took that up on, like, whatever they call it. You can't own all that because you can control the prices. But anyway, so I looked at the guy, and he's out of Kentucky, and looked like a hardworking dude. And so I looked at his political. I thought, well, how's he getting this? How are they getting? Not him personally, but how's Kroger selling China catfish when it clearly says on the Department of Agriculture they're not allowed in because of the chemicals and stuff in the water? So it led me to maybe he knows somebody in the government. So I looked, and he's a smart dude. He gives money to both sides. Yeah, he rides down that fence. He don't go left. He don't go right. He's got a little bit of an each way he's giving the money to. So good for him. Sometimes bad for us. So you make your own decision on that. Catfish in China are referred to as catfish, but they're called Swahili, or no, not Swahili. It's some weird word. And I can tell you that texture's different. Because I grew up eating wild-caught catfish out of the creeks and rivers and ponds and lakes. Don't try to be fooling me with that Swahili or whatever in the heck that is y'all got and you call it catfish. I used to go to a restaurant in my hometown, and they would have all-you-could-eat catfish on a Friday night. It was, $8. I thought, well, this is a good deal. Wife and I went in there, but the fish was just different. It wasn't bad flavor, but the texture was different. And they were all identical size. I mean, they seemed to have a little red strip down the side. And I think maybe they were using that Chinese or Vietnamese, whatever that fish is called, but it ain't catfish to me. You're talking catfish here. For me, the old dude, I want a channel cat, a blue cat, a white cat, which is a combination of the channel cat and the blue cat, and or a big old app, which is a flathead catfish. And I want bone in. And it could be a whole little catfish, what we called outlaw catfish when we were growing up, because you would buy them at places, and we had a size limit in Texas. I forget what it was, 10 inches at the time it had to be. And these were like right on the verge that the catfish with the head cut off would be right on the verge of 10 inches. So we always referred to those as outlaw catfish. They were just barely big enough to get in. I like that, and I like steaks, cross cuts of bigger catfish. Be like a double, like a pork chop, a double pork chop on 8 sides. Got the T-bone, and then you got meat on both sides. And there's something about the bone-in catfish just tastes better to me. I don't know. What do y'all prefer? Do you even like catfish where you even live at? I know a lot of people say, oh, it's muddy flavor, and everybody to their own. I guess it's how you were raised and what you were raised on. Personally, me, the fish that it's just not for me. I've tried it. It's salmon. I call it carp because that's what it tastes like to me. I always say, I've cooked it before, and I put all these different seasonings and honey and barbecue sauce and salts and all this. It tastes okay, but if I got to do all that stuff to a piece of meat to make it taste good, I just throw me a catfish fillet on some butter and salt and pepper, and I'll eat it. It's good. So, but I'm not criticizing the people that like salmon, and I know it's good for you, all the omega oils and omega-3s and all that stuff. It just, I guess I just wasn't raised on it. So the old dude, that just ain't my style. So anyway, now that you've heard it's Hump Day Wednesday, and the old dude's spouting off about life, and I hope everybody's having a good day from wherever you're at. Pray for Texas. We've got an awful deal going here at the border. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. You'll hear different reports from different states what's going on, and you hear, of course, both sides of the parties. The Republicans are one way, and the Democrats are one way, and then they've got people on both sides. Man, I see it. A lot of my friends, I call them my border brothers. These are guys that I grew up with down in South Texas. Hardworking cowboys on these ranches, and most of them had come out of Mexico, and just back then you could just walk across and you just got you a job. They were paid cash, and it starts getting a little iffy at that point. The ones that don't work the ranch, they had a house to live in, an old trailer house or something. They may do, and they sent their money back. The only bad problem about that, they didn't pay taxes on it. I know they didn't. They would use Western Union and send money back to Mexico to their family. And I get that. You want to take care of your families. I got that. But we take care of our families up here, and we pay taxes on it. That's where it gets, it's a slippery slope at that point. So I think anybody ought to be allowed in as long as they've got the right paperwork and they're legal. I've got a good buddy that comes up here, and he's legal as can be. He comes up, he has to pay to he's got dual citizenship. He was born in California, lives in Mexico, drives up here, he has to pay to get his car into Texas, then he has to pay to get his car back out of Texas, and he works hard while he works up here, and he sends money back to his wife and kids in Mexico. He comes up here for about 6 months and works and goes back. And so I get that. He's doing it right. You know, he pays his income tax. It's just it's a bad deal. It ain't as simple as people want to make you think it is. There's a lot that's going on, and I feel for these families that they're living below poverty. I'm not sure the ones that say, you know, we don't have any money, we can't work, and there's no money down there. Well, these men and women and kids are having to pay $4,000 and $5,000 or $6,000 to get the coyotes to get them to the border and get them across the border. Oh my God! Well, what? And they got nice clothes and stuff on. I don't understand that. I don't have an extra $4,000 or $5,000 to give my kids to go across the border. I mean, where's that money come from? I just don't understand. And how did they get across? If they're from another country, how did they get across Mexico and their shoes look clean and their clothes are clean and they just have a little backpack on? I mean, these are questions that the old dude, I ponder in my mind all the time, like, how is this happening? I can't go in my backyard for 15 minutes without getting dirty. And they walked all these miles and crossed the river. I don't know, man, it's disturbing. And I know it's not going to end up well for somebody. I don't know which side it's not going to end up well on, but anyway, now that you've heard the old dude ramble, we'll get back to the food stuff. I'm going to try to do some blackened catfish this weekend. I'm going to do a Spam salad, believe it or not. You take a can of Spam, Spam is ham is Spam, and you run it through a food processor, and you mix it with your celery, and just like you do ham salad, your seasonings, and eat that baby on toast. It's really good. So I'm going to try that. Look for that video coming out. The blackening catfish seasoning with Camp Dog seasoning on it. The blackening seasoning on it. So, and y'all share my videos with your friends. Just tell them it's an old dude, just like your grandpa. And he, just like you at his house, he is telling stories. You're all real, and I'm a real old dude. What can I say? Nothing fancy, just me. So anyway, I've been on here for about 20 minutes. Man, I've been rambling along. I know y'all got other stuff to do, but thank you for being part of my YouTube family. Share these videos. I think maybe in the next week or so, I'm probably going to go over 1,000 subscribers. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. So thank you for the ones that have got me there. Thank you for helping me get there. And I'll just catch y'all later. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks. The old dude out of here.